Hello, good afternoon. My name is Manuel Cerda, and in this video, I'm going to go ahead and focus on some leadership practices that, through the lens of the leverage of Leadership 2.0, focus on Chapter 3 and Toolkit 3.9, as well as the Texas Principal Standards, specifically Standard 2, which means State Human Capital, and Standard 3, Executive Leadership. I will also help connect different ideas to make a powerful case on why denying special education to students in the need by Demuth and Knight 2019, which highlights how systematic pressure led to unethical denial of services to students with disabilities in the Texas elementary. So I'm gonna go ahead and talk about Toolkit 3.9. So in Leverage Leadership 2.0, it presents a clear structure for managing human capital through the consistent classroom observation. It helps individualize feedback and tracking systems, which include the tools such as what specific teacher actions need for the improvement, what is one bite-sized action step that will produce the greatest improvement, what is evidence that shows whether the feedback was implemented successfully. This is a coaching centered mindset that builds how a teacher is built over capacity over time. It helps relate how Texas principles to human capital, which helps emphasize and using strategical professional development to build the instructional excellence. It helps an effective principal identify not just how to improve, but how to improve it and manageable steps, according to Desiree 2016. Weekly check ins, short feedback loops yield more than growth in the annual evaluations that are created to the teacher. In my own leadership practice, I've seen how using the tractor to monitor instructional progress helps ensures that all teachers, not just struggling ones, receive the targeted support. But Toolkit 3.9 has a deeper implication on how we think about equity. What happens when the instructional practices are being monitored, ignored, or understand with specific student populations? That's where the mind shift happens. It helps develop on what's working instructionally to its equity and complaint. Through the case of the Mathis in 1919, Principal Martinez takes over Central's Elementary. In a district where administrators are implicitly discouraged referrals to special education to avoid triggering state oversights. They don't want to get involved with the state. So what happens is that as they investigate, the principal uncovers how the students in the like Guadalupe, Gabriel, Martina were denied all these services due to the systematic misuse that was being used by the principal of the RTI process and misinformation among staff. That's the most important thing. So in this case, we need to apply Toolkit 3.9, which helps the scenario we met how they missed opportunities. For example, teachers lacked the clarity of referral process. There were no formal systems for observing support implementation for students and interventions, and the feedback given at all was not data driven. It was or law informed. It was more just about let's get it done, let's get it over with. So, as the principal, using Toolkit 3.9, it would help us observe how the classroom instruction can create an equity lens of asking, are the accommodations being applied? For example, are the students in the RTI showing documented progress to see how they're growing from day one to day 50, or for example, or day 80, whatever day we're in at that point? Are the teachers aware on how the students are receiving the RTI can also be referred to special education? So in this case, Martinez, the initial teacher survey, found that over half of the staff was incorrectly believed that students receiving RTI or dyslexia services could not be referred to special education. This isn't just how professional development gap is being developed. It's a legal non-complaints issue that was not being corrected. They were just flying by through it. Toolkit 3.9 helped us helped Martinez track whether the teacher understood the application of the ideas which the child fan mandate. It it basically didn't frame coaching conversations around ethical obligations, not just instructional moves. So in this case, we wanted to be more focused on how the aspect was created to make sure that the success was being done and that the teachers and staff knew the correct way how to do it. So right here, I'm going to go ahead and involve standard three, which is executive leadership, which demands how the principles, models, the integrity, encourage, and effective communication, even under pressure. In the case, Ms. Martinez is being called into a meeting with her associate superintendent and warned not to over identify students. Well, what do you mean by that? Well, she was basically told that maintaining a low special education numbers is her responsibility if she wants to be part of the team. This is a clear conflict because districts shouldn't pressure you. The districts, they're under ethical obligations under the idea that the students have to make sure they get all the educational success they need in order to meet the needs of them and help them become lifelong learners. Executive leadership should not blind loyalty of the district. It is about navigating through the conversation and making sure you are protecting the students. Martinez did the right thing by digging deeper and serving her staff, but she also wanted to be careful. She did not face any consequences or that she changed too much too fast. So basically, in my whole understanding, the main thing here is to make sure that the executive leadership is a requires a which requires a system of thinking mindset and making sure that Martinez did not just address one case. She will make sure that the whole school is being looked at, such as looking at the trends and identifying the flaws in the special education and how the people are understanding it and practicing it. So now we're gonna go ahead and respond with the D. Mathis and Knight case. Also, it highlighted the nature of the basically the mistakes. Well, like for example, Guadalupe had dyslexia. Gabriel was an English language learner. Martina had a disability, behavioral challenges, and a mother who was undocumented. These are valuable things that are make them easy to dismiss, especially in where the system is all driven by test scores and the fear of oversight. So, like standard three says, uh, means of recognizing and responding to these intersecting needs. It means knowing that we don't just lead schools, we advocate for the families and communities who might be voiceless because not all students are being heard. We, as teachers and staff, or principals, administrators, need to fight to make sure that we assure the success of every student. So, in this case, Martinez had a challenge was not just instructional, it was about moral. She had to ask herself, do I protect my job or do I protect my students? She then remembered basically one of the things her mentor said. Every choice you make makes you, which came from Maxwell. That message helped her become an educational leader, which throughout her process as an executive leader, it had to be it was not about being conveying or making people happy. It's about being having courage. In conclusion, this whole scenario and cases, it helped us analyze how the effective leadership depends on our ability to build human capacity. I'm sorry about that. Human capital. It is about how you structure your system, those on like such toolkit 3.9, while also practicing executive leadership that defends your students, such as Dean Matthews in Knight case, which is a reminder that without a system of integrity, children can be legally and morally denied their rights. As a leader, we must ensure that our coaching, our data, and our decisions are not just efficient, but also making sure that they help meet all the needs of the students.